Welcome back to Santapod for our third and final visit of the year. We're at the FIA FIM Euro Finals for what is quite probably the largest drag race event in Europe. This is the final round of the year for the European Championships in all of the pro classes, and the outcomes are not yet decided in quite a few of them, so it's going to go right down to the wire. In FIA Top Fuel, the Urbacher name has been around for many years, but now the mantle is being passed to the next generation, India Urbacher, with rumours that this event might be the last for her father, Urs.
You never say it is, but I won't stop it now. I started in '82, that's enough. And now it's my daughter wants to go racing and I won't care about her, and so I stopped at the moment, but I never say no, maybe I jump back next year. But for this year it's over. Yeah, it's a lot of work with one top fuel car, and of course with two is double up everything, and it's really hard. We need about 20 guys that works on both cars together, and it's a mess with the tools, and it's really hard work. So it's too much actually to race two cars on the same event. Santapod is one of our favorite tracks. That we was twice here this year, and I'm sure we can run in the 3-second range with both cars and hope to go to the final with both cars, and that's the plan for this weekend.
But that involves beating championship leader Anita Mäkelä, who's had a fantastic year so far in FIA Top Fuel Dragster.
Oh yes, we have enjoyed, but that tells how good crew I'm having. You know, I have excellent crew working with my car, and that makes my performance so good. Well, we have of course our ups and downs, and like in Tir, when I drove the new European record, we exploded everything at the finish line. So from the oil pan to the injector, everything was gone except one valve cover. But you know, it was a huge explosion. And but like I told my guys that I must have guardian angels, and they are taking care of me and the opponent driver because it ended up so well. You don't learn driving 500 kilometers by reading books or watching movies. You have to do it. And so I feel that I'm still learning. And maybe that keeps us motivated. Our times are getting better, I can do better performance, so that keeps us hooked.
Some very stiff competition here this weekend at Santapod, and as we go into this, the final round of the year, here's a quick look at the points so far. Currently, Anita is leading by a healthy margin and actually only needs to put in one qualifying run to guarantee the title, so the very popular Queen of European drag racing looks set to be crowned with yet another championship win. So we jump straight into the first qualifying session for FIA Top Fuel. First up is Urs Urbacher. Don't necessarily expect full runs from any of the top fuelers first time out. It often takes several runs down the track to get settings for the clutch to actually deliver that 10,000 horsepower to the track. But when you've been racing as long as Urs and the Urbacher team, you have a huge amount of data to fall back on, even allowing for the fact that this is his first time down the new concrete track here at Santapod. His daughter India raced at the main event, of course, but this weekend they have two cars entered, so a busy weekend in prospect for the team. Urs, a picture of concentration. Wow, this is looking good. 4:18 at just 225 miles an hour, and off the power early there. Anita Mäkelä next, and if she competes this run, she is the 2018 FIA Top Fuel champion. Countryman Antti Horto in the far coal-fire lane, the only person who can overtake her in the points. And a storming pair of runs, 393 at 298 for Antti, a great opener, but that qualifying run gives Anita the championship, celebrations from the team on the start line, and one delighted looking husband.
I have my sponsors who are always supporting me, but as good and as much I have to thank my husband, Tommy, and you know, together we will make this team to work.
Moving on to two wheels now with FIM Europe Top Fuel bike, and back at the opening round in May, something exceptional happened. In his first ever event on a nitro bike, Philippos Papaphilippou, or Fast Phil, ran down into the fives on the ex-Ian King Gulf Oil bike and now leads the points.
Well, in general, I mean, we couldn't wish for a better year. I mean, we knew the bike We knew what the bike could do. We'd made some changes over the winter to improve its performance from the year before. All we needed was Phil to get on it for the first time and take it a bit easy, get used to the bike and the power, and run down the track. Luckily for us, that he got used to it very quickly and was able to nail it and show really what the bike can do and therefore what he can do. So he's done a great job. And you know, now 2 wins out of 2, you couldn't ask for a better performance, particularly from a rookie. We haven't been looking for more power for the last 3 years. In actual fact, what we're looking for is more control of that power. And obviously that's the trick that comes with, if you like, longevity of performance. It comes with experience and all that sort of thing. The main thing is that we're learning more and more about this bike every time we go out on it. And we're learning where to add power, where to take power out, and where to, if you like, cut the proceedings properly and just shut down.
Warp Speed Racing's Dale Leakes against Steve Willett on the dealer. Covering most of the quarter mile on one wheel, Steve takes #1 spot in this first qualifying session with a 6:27 at over 200 miles an hour. And if you think these bikes are easy to ride, just watch René Vandenberg in the near lane. Front wheel in the air and pitching all over the place. Great control there.
Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, the 60 foot was perfect, 09, and yeah, was not feel it. I was in my head is open the throttle, and I was not feel it was drifting or whatever, and yeah, I will go to the 5. Yeah, I will go to the 5. That's it.
But you were in control all the time.
Yeah, I was in control. I'm stronger than last year. Yeah, more weight on it on myself. And yeah, I'm fine. My feelings is good, great. I'm strong and happier.
And how's the bike going? Obviously, there's some fast bikes in this class now, with Phil running where he is. Can you compete?
Yeah. Yeah, I can do it.
In FIA Pro Modified, the championship's already sewn up.
I'm happy how the season has gone. I'm not happy that Mickey isn't here, but that's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, the season started perfectly here. We won this Door Slammer event, and the weekend after we went to the final against Mickey, and we broke the crankshaft in the final, unfortunately. So we ended up runner-up there, went to Tierp, ended up runner-up there again, and Finland we won the race, both with the Pro Stocker, my Pro Stocker and this one actually. That was kind of cool. And then we went to Hockenheim. We had all kinds of problems. It was a disaster weekend. We ended up in the semi-final. Went out in the semi-final, I would say.
So here we are in Q2 in FIA Pro Mod. Jimmy Orland in the old 51, Marcus Hilton the Punisher Corvette. Storming run for Jimmy, and a huge engine explosion for Marcus. But look at that time for Jimmy, 5:82 at 241 miles per hour. Let's hope Marcus can fix things for the next round. Frenchman Jean Delemont near lane with the nitrous car, and Michel Turin in the Cuda. A huge nitrous explosion for Jean. He's been plagued with these all year, but that's the biggest we've seen. Nice opening run for Michel though. Let's see that one in replay again. Not the start the Bad Apple team wanted this weekend. Well, that was nitrous power. This is turbo power. The Fast Company Mustang of John Webster up against the supercharged Thunderbird of Kev Slyfield. Kev's Blown Bird is one of the UK's fastest pro mods, and John Webster is still setting up his quite new machine. A storming run for Kev. So close to his first ever 5-second run. 6:02 at 230 miles per hour. The crew look delighted, but unknown to them, the chutes didn't open properly and the car has run off the end of the track into the field. Let's hope both Kev and the car are okay. Nervous times for the crew on the start line. Next pair out, and it's another nitrous car, the Mustang of Sweden's Roger Johansson, up against Kim Christensen from Denmark with the Pontiac Firebird in the left lane. Roger had a horrendous crash a couple of years back, but lost no time in getting his new car together. Roger's been running really well so far this year. What will he do this time? It's a storming run of 5:79. That's a new track record and the quickest ever run by a nitrous car outside America. Very special things happening here at Santapod this weekend. What a first day's qualifying, and what about that field trip for Kev Slyfield? We caught up with him the following morning.
Yeah, unfortunately I deployed the chutes and they came out, but they just got themselves tangled up around the wheelie bars and didn't have any effect. So I was on the brakes, but brakes don't do much at 200 mile an hour, so I ended up in the field, unfortunately.
I know I've seen cars in the past that have got 100 yards into the field. Were you in that sort of situation?
I think I was quite a way into the field, yeah. I went through, I went over 2 roads basically, so I went quite a way in.
But no major damage to the car that can't be fixed for next round of qualifying?
No, the boys worked really hard last night. We damaged the front end quite badly, took all the front off through the field, but they managed to repair it, put new fiberglass in, and it's all good.
So back to Friday night qualifying. It's getting darker, so we should see the flames from the nitro cars now as FIA Top Fuel takes to the track for their second qualifying session. Malta's Duncan Micallef in the right Autoblim lane, Stig Neergaard in the left coal-fire lane. Stig won the first round of the year here at Santapod's main event back in May. Duncan, of course, was a 2017 champion. We're in Q2 for FIA Top Fuel with Duncan Micallef taking on Stig Neergaard. And tyre shake almost immediately for Duncan, but Stig's putting in a pretty decent pass here. 4:49 at 241 miles per hour. Anita Makala with the first burnout. And there's Antti Horto, both from Finland. Watch for the header flames or bunny ears as soon as they launch. A great run from Anita. 389 at only 263 miles per hour, but that's still the first half of a new European ET record in FIA Top Fuel, and that was clicking it off early.
It made me a bit worried because it was getting so dark and so late because due to the delays. And my guys told me that keep on going until you feel comfortable, and I did. But on the other end, it was getting a bit, how to say, out of my comfort zone, and I lift the pedal, and still the time was 3:89.
Late into the evening now, and it's very dark. This is 2018 FIM Europe Super Twin champion Marcus Christensen taking to the track. Great nitro flames and a great time. 6:59 at 192 miles an hour in the dark. Another Super Twin now. This is outgoing champion Martin de Haas from the Netherlands. Another storming run. 6:66 over 200 miles an hour. On to FIM Top Fuel bike now, and another run from René van den Berg up against the UK's Phil Crosley in the right lane. Nitro flames from the exhaust, and a huge fireball from René's bike. That must have caused some damage. I bet he could feel the heat from that one. And a busy night in prospect for the team rebuilding that motor.
Yeah, spectacular. Yes, yeah. And the track was very, very good jobs to the start line marshals and everything was brilliant. The track was very good. But yeah, I like it. Yeah, I feel the heat, and the most of it about it is the big bang, and it's nearly come off the bike. But I was strong enough, I can hold it, and yeah, it was warm. Yeah, the case is crap, and the cylinder block the liners is crap, and yeah, but the crank is okay. All sump is okay, and yeah, we have a spare engine, and maybe we can make the first round today.
Moving on to Sunday morning and this run from Q3 in FIA Pro Modified. It's Roger Johansson in the right lane and Jimmy Orland in the left. Roger already holds the record for the quickest ever nitrous car outside America, and this run is the quickest ever side-by-side Pro Mod run in Europe, and not surprisingly these two are currently 1 and 2 in the qualifying order. On to Q3 for FIA Top Fuel now, and that's Urs Erbacher pushing round. As a father, he must worry just a little bit about his daughter India racing these cars.
Yes, for sure, because it's my daughter. It's not really easy for me, actually, if you see some accident happens and stuff like that. So, but she won't do it, she's old enough, so she do it anyway, so it's better she do it with me.
Quite a complicated start-up procedure for these dragsters. All these teams have lots of members, each with their own jobs to do. Huge crowds here at Santa Pod. Rolling forward into the burnout to warm up the tyres and lay down hot, sticky rubber. Let's see what Urs can do this time. Oh, and a big flash from the engine just after half track, but he's got a time on the board, 4:20.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in qualifying it's tough because you need to get a decent time on. So what we're sort of really looking to do is just trying to get the car on song. Like every track we go to is obviously different conditions. So I mean, like for example, the first one, we were trying to do a full pass, but the tyre shape was that bad, it almost becomes like physically unbearable. It's painful stuff, so you just have to let off, unfortunately. You imagine doing 10 rounds of Mike Tyson, but compressed into half a second. It really is like that. It's like getting punched 50 or 60 times in the head. It is with obviously the new track being concrete, we've sort of underestimated it, I think. The track was cold, so we thought it wasn't very good, but it was. And so we're just going to put more power in it, more clutch in it, and yeah, fingers crossed we'll get down there.
So Liam's in the left lane, Duncan Mikulev closest to us, and neither man gets down the track. Huge tyre shake from both of them. Another few rounds with Mike Tyson there for Liam. Stig Neergaard up next.
It don't go really good. We have a lot of work to get a new car down the track. It's really not easy, but I know every run will be better, and hopefully before we end the race, car is going really well.
How will they do this time? Looking better, and a decent 4:39 for Stig. No improvement for Antti on his earlier 3:93 though. Final pair is Anita Makala in the left coal-fire lane and India Erbacher in the right Autoglim lane. Anita proves once again that she has the measure of the track. A stunning 387 sets a new European ET record in FIA Top Fuel. Great to see that record falling here at Santa Pod. Back in the pits after Q3 and a lot of engine rebuilding to be done before the final qualifying session. India's Monster Energy dragster being pushed back into the awning there. But with the final qualifier coming around late in the evening, nobody improved on their previous times. So at the end of qualifying, this is how the table looks, with India set to face her father Urs in the first round of eliminations.
Yeah, it's not what we wanted for first round. It would have been a dream final, as example, but we're just happy. I'm happy he ran good times, and as he said, it will be his last race, so I'm lucky if he's doing well. But I will give him a hard race. I try to give the best. The car is ready, so he has to take care to be first.
The cars aren't identical though, are they? They're different.
There are differences between the cars. Dad's car is an older car, so we have tune-ups from the other years. My car is like almost brand new. We run it first time on main event, so we still have to figure out how to put the setting in, how to make everything work together. But we're on a good way, and we're looking forward for finals and next season.
Now, I know Urs, I think he told us how many years he's been racing, but it's a lot of years. Are we going to be seeing you out in this car for many years to come?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will race like the same amount of years as he did, because it's like, you know, I grew up with it. It's like, I need it.
Yeah, that was our plan actually, to race together, and we do that in Hockenheim in elimination first time. Now we have first round together, okay, so only one can win, but it's fun to have an elimination run against my daughter. Yeah, we try to go to a 3-second run. We are on the way to, so everything works fine last night. And we hope we can make a 3-second run. And the car is a little bit easier to tune because that's my old system. And India's car is a brand new car, so it's not so easy to find the setup.
So it's Sunday morning and eliminations day here at the Eurofinals as the first round of matchups for Pro Mod comes to an end, with Kev Snifield's newly repaired car just taking the win against Bobby Wallace. It's time for round 1 of FIA Top Fuel, and time to hand you over to race commentator Daryl Bradford.
Thanks, Bryn. Well, this is always, or normally, a very nervy part of any race season. Top Fuel round 1 at the Euro finals in September. However, it's not as nervy as usual, because that lady there giving the thumbs up is the European champion. Liam Jones also looking for a good weekend here at his home racetrack after winning in Hockenheim. They then had a horrible time the week afterwards, unfortunately, in Tierp in Sweden. But Anita has just been so good. Another debating point, will this be Urs Urbacher's last time in a Top Fuel dragster? He says he's got no intention of running anymore, but then again, he never has normally. That's why he's here this weekend, and his daughter's racing as well. So, the first pair getting set and ready to go before the crowd stand for the national anthem. And with that done, it's on with the Stig and Liam. Now, Liam Jones ran a personal best, had a terrific weekend in Hockenheim, Germany. He went 3.88. That's absolutely on the verge of a European record for him. Stig Neergaard won the main event. And this is, believe it or not, even though the car looks very similar, this is a new car to him. This is one of Brittany Force's Top Fuel cars from over in the States. Big things hoped for from Stig. Problems for Liam off the start line. Stig goes boom before the finish line. You can see the smoke pouring out the engine. 446 at 189. He takes out the home team, unfortunately for everybody that came to support Liam here this weekend. Stig Neergaard does it again at Santopon. Seems to be his lucky racetrack, this one. So, Anita McKellar, due to the odd lot field, gets a bye run here in round 1. She set the European record in qualifying, 3.87, and she's off on another stormer again. 3.87 with a 2, just 2 thousandths of a second off her record. Hannah's very happy with that chicken. I think that's got to be the family chicken, that one. That's her daughter and team member. Her husband also obviously on the team, Tommy, and son as well. So one guy who's had a great year this year, that's Antti Horto from Finland in one of Rune Field's cars. Another Rune Field car on the far side, that is Duncan Mikkola from Malta. This is the last day he's going to be wearing the number 1 on his car from 2017. They've had a horrible season this year. So are things about to improve for them? Welcome back to Santopon. Before the break, it was these two, Antti Horto and Duncan Mikkola, blasting off the start line. Well, they've both got issues, and in a coasting race, only just, Antti Horto takes the win, but at a very, very big cost. You can see that the elapsed times are very close. But Antti, I think, destroyed almost everything under the injectors on that car. So, the last race for the first round of Top Fuel is going to be these two. The cars look similar. That's because they're from the same team. It's European drag racing legend Urs Urbacher in possibly his last ever race in a Top Fuel car, taking on his daughter right there in the Monster Energy Midland Oil Top Fuel car. Now, Urs wants to win, however, it's whether he wants his daughter to win more than him. He's not going to be upset anyway if he does lose, and I'm sure he'd like to see India do well. I always forget to ask him what Urs's wife and her mum thinks about all this, but there we go. I'm sure she loves it and supports them anyway. So it's India closest to the camera. That's Urs over there on the far side of the racetrack for a place in the semi-finals. Problems for Urs straight away, but India is on a flyer, so much of a flyer. Her first ever 3-second run, 3.99 at 293 miles an hour.
Yeah, it felt amazing, awesome. The car went down so straight and so fast. So I'm so happy for the 3-second run now because the guys, the team worked so hard for it. And I'm just happy to have this in the end of the season. So we have a few more runs today, 2, hopefully.
So I know you were saying earlier on that this is a new car and there's going to be a lot more in that you can tune when it looks like it's going the right way. So I think next year we're going to really have to look out for you. And it sounds like the name Bakker is going to be back.
Yeah, I'll do my best to get that, to give that name pride and to run as fast as he did and to run as good as he did. So yeah.
OK, well, Ben Patterson, we've got a bit of assistance from down under here helping the team. It's obviously worked out well for them. What's your take on how well the team has worked through the year and the tracks have been to?
Yeah, definitely. It's been an awesome experience this year. These guys have worked really hard. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work to get these cars to perform like it's done this weekend and all year. And it's been a bit of a process all year, getting a little faster and faster. And the tracks have been good and it's been a lot of fun. So.
Now, I'm guessing in Australia, generally when you're racing in the summer, you're used to much higher temperatures in general. It's been a good summer here, but not quite to that level. Especially when you were going in Northern Europe, it must have posed a few new problems for you.
Yeah, definitely. The last 2 races have been very interesting. Some new records on track temperatures, but yeah, no, it's been a lot of interesting experience. We've learned a lot of stuff. This car's responded well in the cool, as we've seen this weekend. It's really worked out well. So hopefully, a little bit warmer track here in the semi-finals. Hopefully, we can make it work for that. So.
Now it's time for a quick look at the spectacular Nitro Funny Cars with a first-round matchup between Steve Ashdown in the Undertaker in the far lane and Kevin Chapman in the Thermareg car closest to us. Now, of the 2 of these, it's Kevin in the near lane who's had the much better season elapsed time-wise, but overall, on balance, Steve won at the main event with the Undertaker. All these teams pour everything they have into these cars and work so unbelievably hard. It's Steve off the start line first in the far lane. Kevin's gone past him. But at the finish line, it's Steve Ashdown, 499, 211. So up next is an amazing first-round matchup in FIA Top Methanol. The 2 Harberman brothers, Timo and Dennis, facing off against each other. Whoever wins this matchup takes the 2018 crown in this class. Now, they've raced each other so many times. They both came all the way up from junior dragster to where they are now. They are Europe's fastest brothers. They are just an incredible race team who seem to pull out the results and the race wins time and time again. So, on form so far this weekend, it's been Dennis who's in the near lane. Timo's on the far side, but once again it looks like it's going to be Dennis. It was by just a car length, 5.30.
Yeah, we are one team with 2 cars. It's my brother and me, and the whole team. Like, we knew yesterday that we have to drive in the first round against each other, and the winner would take the title. But it's like when you see the team working on both cars, it's just amazing. I mean, there's just something, yeah. Everybody works on both cars. When Timo and me, when we are working at home on the cars, he does mine, I does his. So it's really nice. I mean, yeah, it was just so close. Then he would get the title. So he got it 3 times. My dad got it 2 times. Now I got it also 2 times. So it's really nice now.
And another class that was decided before eliminations, this is FIA Pro Stock, where Bengt Jungdahl took the title as a result of being number 1 qualifier. Bengt is in the left lane in the semi-final matchup against Robin Naren. Such close racing in this class, and Bengt takes the win.
I should be pleased, but actually I'm not. I'm pleased to be number one, of course, but we had a rough season. I haven't performed as I should, and we have some issues with the car for several times, so we lost finals totally unnecessary. So that's why I'm not pleased. But of course I'm pleased I'm number one on my car for the next season. But we can perform better than this.
Our first look at FIM Europe top fuel bike eliminations, and it's 2 nitro bikes this time round. René van der Berg looks to be mended, and he's taking on Steve Willat on the dealer. It's been a horrendous weekend for René and doesn't get any better with this run. Steve taking the win, but no sign of 2018 champ Fast Phil this session. We went and caught up with him in the pits.
What happened? It was my fastest ever run. Went to 241 miles. It felt fast. I missed a little bit the whole procedure on opening the parachute, delayed a little bit. Then I hit, there is a slight bump in the shutdown area on the left lane, and this took the bike out of control. It moved a little bit sideways. All this delay and me not opening the parachute first thing after the run, and going at 240 miles, covering about 100 meters per second. We only have 8 seconds to do everything. So when I realized that it's, I see the guys coming fast to me, it was a wrong procedure for me. My mistake.
FIA Pro Modified quarter-finals now. 2 cars from Sweden that have raced each other many, many times. We'll say 2 guys from Sweden, but not with these cars. This is Roger Johansson's new Mustang, the nitrous car that went down into the 5.7s. Unbelievable in qualifying. Taking on Mats Eriksson's brand new green or grey for this weekend. Goblin on the far side. Tyre shake for Roger, no problems for Mats. 6.03 at 2.36, his quickest run with the brand new car. And all of a sudden, a weekend to test turns into a weekend to try and go as quick as they can and win. So Jan Eriksson with a bye run. No show for Michel Turenne, who went in to the 5s for the first time in round 1. He goes 5.98 at 2.40 to book his place in the semis. Kev Schleifield taking on Jimmy Orland. Now Kev went 6.02 in qualifying. Unfortunately, the result of it, you can see on the front of the car because he ended up in the field. Taking on perennial winner on the far side, Jimmy Orland. Kev is way out in front. Can Jimmy run him down? Half a car length at the finish line. 5.88 takes out a 6.13. That was some kind of race as well. Kev had 0.2 of a second advantage off the start line. Up next, Andy Robinson taking on Sean Dillamont. Great to see Sean going rounds in FIA competition. However, Andy and the team stop him right there. 5.99 at 242 for Andy, and no shoots to a long way down the shutdown area as well. You can see on board Jean in the distance, but then through the finish line, no shoots, no shoots, no shoots. There they go. Thank goodness, says Andy. And with a little skip right at the end, doesn't make the turn off, but also doesn't make the field. So we're on with the Top Fuel semi-finals. Your finalists from back at the main event are pairing up in the first of our 2 races. Stig Nergaard is taking on Anita Michaela, and India Urbacher will be on the other side of the ladder against Antti Horto. Stig concentrated, engine fired. They've got a massive task to get around Anita here this weekend. They did it at the main event though, so never ever count out the Eye of the Storm team from Denmark. Nice smoky burnouts for the pair of them. The sun has put in an appearance here this afternoon at Santa Pod. It's been an absolutely fabulous weekend, completely packed out with Europe's best race fans for the whole 4 days of the event. We're getting to the sharp end of it though, and this is going to set up the final. Anita or Stig? Stig with a big fireball. Anita once again like a steamroller. No problems whatsoever. 3.89 this time round. Wow, Stig's engine let go in a fairly serious way that time round. So your next pair. Daughter of the many-time champ India Urbacher, also in the threes with a 3.99, taking on Antti Horto. The team in the far lane with that red, white and blue dragster had just an unbelievable amount of work to make it to this semi-final race. They destroyed absolutely everything in the engine. The question is, can they take out India? And the answer is no. India goes through with a 4 flat at 2.97. Great effort from Antti's team though. We'll be back just after this break. Pro Mod semi-finals. Up next here at Santa Pod, Jan Eriksson with the orange Camaro far side against the green Goblin, or the grey Goblin of Mats Eriksson. Mats' well, kind of dream weekend with a new car comes to an end. Yanni with a 5.93 at 2.40, one of his quickest runs of the season. Andy Robinson, the NGK Anger Management Camaro on the near side. The team have been down into the 5.8s this summer. However, they haven't done it here this weekend. Now would be a great time against the man who is your new European champion. That's Jimmy Orland. And he goes red just. Jimmy will be in the final to take on his fellow countryman. 5.85 at 2.41. Killer consistency and very, very quick as well. No wonder they're happy. We're back on two wheels again for a moment. This is FIM Europe's Super Street Bike. Morganslund in the right lane against Britain's Graham Bouchin in the left, racing for a place in a semi-final. An absolutely huge wheelie for Graham, so severe in fact, when he hit the deck afterwards, he managed to break a bone in his leg. You really do have to admire these guys. Well, admire them or pity them, I'm not sure which one it is to be honest with you, but there we go, look. See Graham going straight up there, that was so well held. Graham pretty much okay, apart from a bit of a limp. And everyone on the start line trying to look concerned at not really getting away with it. Up next, Rick Stubbins in the left lane against Rodolfo Maduro from the Netherlands, who has been on a real streak this weekend, and it looks like he's going to be out in front being Rick Stubbins, but the horsepower, the Protec booster at the finish line does take that one. 7.15 at 200, takes out a 7.33. Continue on two wheels, this is the FIM Europe Junior Drag Bike Cup. In the left lane is none other than Meggie Talbot, part of René van der Berg's drag racing family and 2018 champion. This semi-final win was enough to book her place in the final, and that's one proud mum there, as you would be. Last semi-final pairing to bring you reigning 2018 champion Rick Stubbins against Steve Venables. Can Rick get into the final or Steve pull something out of the bag? Well, valiant effort from Rick, but it's Steve into the final.
It's not going as quick as it can go, but we're working on that all the time. But we're not a million miles off it. It's less than a tenth of a second slower than our PB.
And the best thing is you kept it out of the field this weekend.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what brakes are for.
Yes, everything's looking good. We sort out the bugs in the car and I think we can go fast this round.
Everything is okay now, I hope. So we're ready for race.
Yeah. Car going as well as you hoped?
Yeah, quite as I suppose it should do, but a little bit faster should be good now.
Well, everybody seems to be pretty relaxed, to be honest with you, for the simple reason the championships are done, but everybody does still desperately want to win in their respective classes. Yanni Eriksson hasn't taken a win in FIA Pro Mod yet. I'm sure he'd love to. Neither has that young lady, India Urbacher. What must she be feeling? She's been in a final before, but she's just never quite taken the win. And she's up against Anita. FIA Pro Stock. Now, one of the real anomalies of this year has been the fact that Bengt Jungdahl is points leader and he's taken the championship. He hasn't had an event win. That's all changed. Michael Malmgren spins the tyres as soon as he dumps the clutch. Bengt Jungdahl goes 666, only 202. I think it's because he had the shoots out before the finish line. And I was up there at the top end. He was one very, very happy young man. Top methanol final, Johnny Lag in the yellow injected nitro dragster against your new champ for 2018. That's Dennis Haberman. Now, Johnny's been suffering a little bit. Not the car for once, Johnny himself. He's actually got a bit of a bad back and he's had trouble getting in and out. However, he's still up for this final round run against Dennis. Nitro flames licking at the wings on the far side, but it will be the methanol car over the stripe first. 5:34 takes out a 5:42 to cap a fantastic championship season for the Habermans. Junior drag bike final now. Meggie Talbot on the near side, taking on Liam Holgate. Can Meggie cap her season, a championship season, with a win? Not quite. Terrific run, that one for Liam. He takes the win in European Drag Bike Cup. Okay, Pro Stock Bike for the FIM far side of the racetrack. Newly crowned champion Maurice Bertrand, but Martin Newbury with no mistake. He's been on an absolute tear this weekend, 7:19. Terrific weekend for Martin, Cindy and the whole Cycle Works team. Top Fuel Bike next. A buy run for Steve Willett with the dealer. He really does the most with the least. Stu Crane couldn't make the final with a Warp Speed bike, but a very, very well-deserved win for Steve Willett and the whole team. Definitely a survival of the fittest in Top Fuel Bike this weekend. FIM Super Twin. Your new champion, Marcus Christiansen from Denmark. That terrific-looking Pro Stock Bike style Super Twin. The fact that he sits up, it also stays flatter and straighter and calmer than any other Super Twin I've ever seen. That bike in the near, look at that. Martin de Haas with a wheel in the air. That's a spectacular way to do it. However, on this occasion, it was Marcus with a 6:56. Terrific run and a great race to end the FIM season for the Super Twins. Top Fuel final. Can India Urbacher take her first ever win in Top Fuel Dragster? She came oh so close on her first ever weekend in the car back at Hockenheim just over a year ago. On that occasion, she got beaten by then champ Duncan Micallef, or soon to be then champ Duncan Micallef. This time round, she has got to beat Anita Mäkelä from Finland with the Bionic Chicken. That team have done everything this season. This would be the third event win in the row if they get it. Can India stop her? Well, the candles go out early for India. 10,000 horsepower streaks down the Autoglim lane to a 396 at only 276 miles an hour for Anita. What a fabulous end to the season. They couldn't really have done much better.
Well, of course, it's very lonely to be on the other end, just waiting for the crew, but they did come very loud to the other end to pick up me. But yeah, I had no idea what they've been doing there on the start line.
It's been a fantastic year, hasn't it?
Oh yes, but hey, that tells how good crew I have. I have the best crew of Europe, and this is a big proof how good they are.
FIM Super Street Bike and Pro Modified to go. Steve Venables, been over 210 miles an hour numerous times into the sixes, taking on Mogens Lund from Denmark. Now, Mogens has had a pretty good summer, to be honest with you. He ran his first 6-second run just a couple of weeks before this event out in Tierp in Sweden. Needs to pull out something like that to get around Steve this time. Morgan's near side, little wheelie, or two of them actually for Steve Venables. That could put pay to his chance of taking the win. Mogens Lund with a 6.99 at 206 miles an hour. Steve Venables just loses out with a 7.05. So, in the gathering darkness on the Sunday evening here at Santopod, in what's been just a tremendous Euro finals, we have two Swedes doing battle for the Pro Modified crown. Jan Eriksson with the orange Camaro, the old 51, the 51 Chevy, belonging to Magnus Pedersen, owned and tuned by him, driven expertly by Jimmy Orland, and pulling away is Jimmy Orland again. 587 at 241. He's been in the 580s all weekend this time round.
Well, this was the best thing that could happen this weekend. First, we won the championship, but we wanted to show everybody that even that our fierce competitor wasn't here, we still made a real good race, I think. I mean, going 91, 88, 85, 87 on race day, when a lot of people had trouble getting down the racetrack, that's pretty awesome. So that just shows that we're really hard to beat. And there's a lot of good cars. I mean, you can't take anyone out of there. Look at Roger, he's running 79 with a nitrous car. But we took this old Summit Racing Viking Industry Morning Exclusive Cars car right to the final and won it. So it's awesome.
Lots of other sportsman classes also running their finals, including Top Speed Automotive Street Eliminator. These street legal machines are just absolutely unbelievable. 2,000 to 3,000 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right. Far side of the racetrack, with the big twin turbo Chevy, is Andy Bond. Near side, in that tiny little Sunbeam Stiletto, is Joe Stevens. Andy Bond with a 781 at 185 and 826 in a Sunbeam. Would you believe that?
Yeah, it was an amazing weekend, amazing Sunday especially. We run in the threes, the low four, so I'm over happy. And well, we fell short to Anita in the final, but we're ready for next season and we will get there really fast.
Yeah, that's really great. It's her first season in Top Fuel with only 2 races on her, and she is a runner-up on this race. It's amazing, and we're on this 3-second run, so we are really happy.
Anita Michaela receives her trophy from CEO Keith Bartlett. What a season it's been for this very popular racer. She's been a class act all year long.
What do we look forward to next year?
Of course. I want to keep the number 1.
So that was the 2018 FIA FIM Euro finals here at Santopod. What a weekend and what a season it's been. We've seen records falling and some unbelievable racing. A big thumbs up for the new concrete track here at Santopod and the prospect of some amazing things to come for next year.